depicts Antarctica, which was discovered between 1818 to 1820. But how is this possible? It has become a popular belief that ancient civilizations across the globe were in fact much more advanced than what mainstream researchers are crediting them for. Numerous maps discovered in the past are clear indications that the story told today by scholars is incomplete, and there are numerous missing links in our history. These missing links are being put together by these incredible ancient maps that prove mankind inhabited our planet much longer than what mainstream scholars believe. Perhaps these ancient maps, in combination with modern satellite images of our planet, are the ultimate evidence that civilization could have developed in the most inhospitable places on Earth in the distant past. According to numerous indicators, such structures have already been identified in recent years. Satellite imagery of the Antarctic continent has revealed several oddly shaped formations that are spread across the icy continent.
Oh, very busy.
Please, there's got to be somebody to find my Emmett.
Mrs. Otterton.
I will find him.
Oh, thank you. Bless you, little bunny. Take this. Find my Emmett. Bring him home to me and my babies, please.
Mrs. Otterton, please wait out here.
Of course. Oh, thank you both so much.
1 second. Otter, you're a former meter maid with delusions of grandeur who will not be taking the case.
I just heard Officer Hops is taking the case.
And you're going to tell that Otter you're a former meter maid with delusions of grandeur who will not be taking the case.
I just heard Officer Hops is taking the case.
Let's just to tell that Otter you're a former meter maid with delusions of grandeur who will not be taking the case.
I just
3 items on the docket. First, we need to acknowledge the elephant in the room. Francine. Happy birthday. Number 2, there are some new recruits with us I should introduce, but I'm not going to because I don't care. Officers Muckhorn, Rydovitz, Wolford, your teams take Sahara Square. Officers Higgins, Snarlow, Trunkaby, Tundra Town. And finally, our first bunny, Officer Hops. Parking duty. Dismissed.
Pops the weasel.
Hops! You did stop a master criminal from stealing 2 dozen moldy onions. You did stop a master criminal from stealing 2 dozen moldy onions.
Hate to disagree with you, sir, but those aren't onions. Those are a crocus varietal called Midnicampum haloscythius. They're a Class C botanical, sir. Well, I grew up in a family where plant husbandry was kind of a thing.
Shut your tiny mouth now!
Wow, you're one hot dancer, Chief Bucko.
Chief Bogo!
Not now.
Wait, is that Gazelle?
No!
I'm Gazelle, and you are one hot dancer.
You have the app too?
Clawhauser, can't you see I'm working on the missing mammal cases?
Oh, yes, of course. About that, sir.
Who cares?
Huh? You should have your own line of inspirational greeting cards, sir.
Shut your mouth, Wild. Assignments? Officers Grisoli, Fagmeyer, Delgato, Tundra Town SWAT, Snarlov, Higgins, Wolford, undercover, Hops, Wild. Parking duty. Dismissed. Just kidding.
So, you always know that since you're a child since you're a kid, let's not say child, because we know that children is a fiction. A kid or an offspring. Alright, so, actually I think a kid refers to an animal as well. But anyways, you're all... This is super genius. I always give credit where credit's due. I'm still astonished by this deception. Anywho, what you're looking at is below the plane, there's a black sun. Bing! The highest projecting beyond the firmament in the holographic universe is the sun. Comes the light. the Creator's creation that these people all want us to look up and say, oh, that's God, but it's not. It's like a guiding light, and it sits on a path that never sets. I'll show you in a little bit, in a later video, but I want to show you this now to understand the territories. There may be a treaty here to keep you from going to the horizon line where it's white, so you can see this ice ring. But there's not a treaty here, and this is not on a fictional map, and it's not claimed by anything because it would be, this is just where the territory just cuts off. This is where the limits cut off. For some, why there are no reptilians and grays and Anunnaki and all that bullshit ass shit that they're using to distract you, why those aren't real. And you're gonna know that there's no such thing as a gray or an Anunnaki or a reptilian as soon as I'm done with this. I've been in and out of these rabbit holes for a long time, and I just want to explain. I'm not going to be too long-winded about this, but I just want to explain. I'm not going to be too long-winded about this, but at one point I was under the understanding that maybe there were reptilians around, there's a claim on our blood and all these things, and that Lucifer was the king of the reptilians. Well, I started listening to certain people that were kind of on the same wavelength, and I was kind of debating on the idea of whether there was a real Lucifer. I ran across the cherub picture, didn't think anything about it.
It's good to see you. I must go. I know I will go. Motherfucker!
History, we have heard tales about these strange-looking creatures that apparently live among us on Earth. There are so many stories about reptilian entities both in the past and in the present, as if these beings were since the beginning of time present on our planet. History talks about them, and modern-day sightings are becoming more and more frequent. There have been stories of beings half human, half reptile for centuries. But is this just the result of human imagination, or is there something more about these strange beings that have conquered our history texts? It is first known documented in Teotihuacan in the 1st century before Christian era or 1st century Christian era. A feathered serpent deity has been worshipped by many different ethno-political groups in Mesoamerican history. The earliest iconographic depiction of the deity is believed to be found on Stela 19 at the Olmec site of La Venta, depicting a serpent rising behind a person probably engaged in a shamanic ritual. This depiction is believed to have been made around 900 before Christ. To the Aztecs, Quetzalcoatl was, as his name indicates, a feathered serpent, a flying reptile much like a dragon. Indicates, a feathered serpent, a flying reptile much like a dragon, who was a boundary maker and transgressor, between earth and sky. He was a creator deity having contributed essentially to the creation of mankind. Kukulkan is the name of a Maya snake deity that also serves to designate historical persons.
But aren't you tired of being something you're not?
I'm a snake. I'm a snake that's been dragging my old skin around with me for way too long. I'm a snake.